Flooded forests, primates, incredible exotic birds, lush green jungle, amazing people, and one of the longest rivers in the entire world, the Amazon. A place as vast as it is shrouded in legend, lore, culture, wildlife, and mystery. Not a single bridge crosses the mighty Amazon River, not in its roughly 4,000-mile length, and for good reason. A constantly shifting, changing, flooding, snaking, dangerous, and dynamic current of billions of gallons of turbid water discharge an estimated 209,000 cubic meters per second into the South American Atlantic Ocean. That's more water than the world's next 7 largest rivers combined. But of the myriad of ways in which this mighty river stands as a legendary and mystical wonder of the world, full of stories and unique challenges, getting there and seeing it for ourselves was something we both had always dreamt of. Seeing the Amazon firsthand, you're never truly prepared for not only just how much you will see, but just how life really looks different, and how the thousands of people who call the Amazon home interact with one of the wildest places on Earth every single day. Living in Argentina these last couple of years, I've come to really appreciate and be blown away by just how much closer the access can be to wild parts of South America. But now, living in Buenos Aires, we're constantly keeping an eye out to escape the concrete urban jungle, just every once in a while. But in doing so, are truly able to search for unique places and experiences that represent some of the best situations you can hope for in experiencing amazing people, view wildlife without harm, support locals, and journey through some of the most beautiful and special parts of our entire planet. For us, a tiny little community on the banks of the Amazon River that we came across while traveling through Colombia was exactly that. And after having explored it briefly just once before, we knew we couldn't wait to go back. This would actually be our 3rd time in the Amazon rainforest and 2nd time through Leticia, working on trying to experience 3 sides of the incredible Amazon through the Colombian side, Peruvian side, and Brazilian sides. This particular area is especially unique as you can see all 3 sides technically in one day in La Tripla Frontera, the triple frontier, as Brazil and Colombia border each other directly, and Peru lies just across the river. To be clear, the Amazon, despite its threats from wildfires, habitat destruction, industrial development, and degradation, is still a massive area, but it's being depleted every single day. Even though it might be impossible to see all of it in one lifetime, we're definitely going to try our best. As always, getting to remote parts of the world, and especially Colombia, is half the fun. Or half the battle, depending on how you look at it. We had set our sights on experiencing 8 days in the jungle, trekking every single day, exploring the small tributaries, watching birds from one of the best bird viewing towers we've ever seen, and really digging deep to push ourselves further to be in the right moments to catch the best glimpses of what life is like in the world's deepest rainforest jungle. An estimated 400 billion trees stitch a nearly unbelievable tapestry of life in the Amazon rainforest, and the often quoted trope of the lungs of the world is actually a bit misleading. It is true that the rainforest produces an estimated 20% of the world's oxygen, but it consumes nearly as much of that oxygen through a practically immeasurable amount of decomposition fueled by intense atmospheric cycles of rainfall, flooding, humidity, and temperature like nowhere else in the world. With the dense vegetation of the jungle capturing all this organic matter and decomposing it, the Amazon actually acts more as one of the largest carbon sinks on the planet. 10% of all known species on Earth live in the Amazon. One of my favorite things about being here is that at first you really try and take in just the sheer scale of the jungle and the river. And if you're lucky enough to venture further out, even just a few kilometers at a time, you not only see animals and species you've read about or seen pictures of, but you encounter others you've never even heard of or knew existed. It is simply an ecosystem filled with some of the most incredible situations known to science, and more are being discovered every single year. Every day we saw something new, and no single trip is ever the same. Landing in Leticia is always a bit of a shock to see just how busy and thriving this little Amazonian port city is. Flying over the jungle, you aren't really ready to find a bustling city center, tons of tourism, and a major hub for accessing the triple frontier. Leticia sits right at the border of Colombia, Peru, and Brazil. But it's from here where most of the tourism in the Colombian Amazon heads out from. And hopping our water taxi, we were ready for a nice, sweaty, and full boat ride another few hours deeper into the jungle. Arriving at La Ceiba, we were greeted by the staff there, and the flavors of the jungle have never once disappointed. We enjoyed some of the exotic fruits grown right on site by the community of Mocagua and fresh fish caught right in the river down below. There is a theory that some 80% of foods we eat today, like chocolate with cocoa, coffee, bananas, all originate from plants first discovered in the Amazon. Despite these incredibly dense forests, with canopies so lush that the forest floor receives less than 1% of the sunlight, it creates not only unique and challenging shooting conditions, but plant and animal life thrives in all sorts of conditions here. From semi-aquatic insects, arboreal primates, and even toxic poisonous amphibians carrying their babies on their backs. This place is simply wild, and we had an incredible experience with some of the simplest of outings, just walking with our awesome guides from the community and Eco Lodge. This area of the Colombian Amazon, as with most of this part of the world, really experiences only two seasons. Really wet and a little less wet. In February, we were sitting right on the edge of the really wet, rainy winter season, and the banks of the river, flooded forests and waterways had not yet really swelled to the sometimes 30 feet higher that they can be. But the rain in rainforest really does make for some incredibly dramatic storms, and we enjoyed watching the bird life, continuing on with life in the rain without a single worry. If you were worried about the rain in the rainforest, you really wouldn't end up doing much. Intense and thunderous, gentle and calming, crashing and powerful, light and refreshing. An Amazon rain is just as varied and unique as the plants and animals that weather these downfalls and call this place home. And being well prepared and really learning the cycles of rain for this time of year was an awesome learning experience. And we really only got caught out one time, but we were able to protect our gear and enjoy the refreshing natural shower after sweltering for days trekking through the forest. Some of the more interesting times and one of the more interesting days, in between quietly stalking through the jungle, our guide Jose showed us how to make a palm sling bag. Seeing this amazing ancient knowledge passed down and the craftsmanship of something so simple but so sturdy and useful, lasting for what Jose told us could be up to 15 years. He gathered the right palm fronds, made a few simple cuts, wove everything together, and seriously in about 15 minutes had a solid bag that could be used for gathering anything from wood to fruits to fish. I was actually really disappointed we couldn't pack it home without violating at least 10 different organic and plant material laws, but I also was afraid it would get completely crushed on the airplane. Near Leticia, Colombia, prominent indigenous groups also include the Ticuna, Yagua, Cocama, and Yucuna, with others like the Hultoto, Bora, and Macuna, also present in the wider Amazon region, living in self-governing communities along the Amazon River and its tributaries. As the most biodiverse place on Earth, we really wanted to put ourselves to the test of seeing just how much we could find in our little over a week adventure, and the jungle never disappoints. But one of the highlights for us for sure was Leoncito, or the Pygmy Marmoset, the world's smallest primate. tiny characters are hard to find, but their bat-like ultrasonic chirps and calls can alert you well if you're listening closely. And once they start to materialize out of the dense forest, we slowly realized we must have been surrounded by a family of about 10 to 15. Fast and curious, intelligent and observant, Pygmy marmosets have a 180-degree turning radius on their heads and constantly keep their wits about them in the jungle, as they are the favorite snacks of hawks and eagles, snakes, and oftentimes targeted for the illegal pet trade. Pygmy marmosets also have specially adapted protruding mouths in order to chew holes in the bark of their favorite tree so they can get to a sweet milky sap to feed on as one of their most consistent and favorite food sources. Getting to witness one of nature's perfectly balanced relationships between plant and animal was such a cool experience, and really reflective of how the jungle and nature work together in cycles to protect and continue such a balance of energy and life. Pygmy marmosets are also known to enjoy small fruits, and as this one seemed to have stumbled upon a more substantial meal, insects as well. Several other species of primates call this place home as well, like the Brown Mantled Tamarin, or as local Colombians call them, bebe leche, or milk baby. And this one was thoroughly enjoying a giant locust. Brown Mantled Tamarins also leave scent-marked territories as they climb through the trees, and I was lucky enough to capture a few photos of this behavior as we watched them through the dense jungle. Of the countless other species you can come across in the Amazon, really for us, some of the most impressive are birds. This area boasts nearly 400 observable species, and it really makes every single day a complete surprise and a chance for dozens of lifers any given day. And sightings of incredibly special species you very well may never see again. One such incredible experience came at a bit of a cost, but as always was ultimately worth it. We had hiked for hours deep into the jungle with our guide, Jose. And as a dense rain lifted, thousands of termites were hatching, and we became engulfed in an absolute cloud of flying termite insects. But our guide, knowing it was the perfect opportunity to witness some of nature's amazing rhythms, put us right in the perfect place to observe two many-banded araucaries and a gilded barbet taking advantage of the termite feast right before our eyes in the canopy directly overhead. Watching these incredibly vibrant birds completely distracted and chowing down on flying termites made us forget that we were completely sweating and covered in bugs, as they swiped and speared these flying insects, capturing their meals from the air, not passing up a snack provided by the jungle in its perfect balance. The incredible colors, and especially the beaks of the araucaries, to me, always look as though some strange armless Pokemon dinosaur strapped a mask on and went hiding in the jungle. We considered the day a success and worked our way back through the dense forest, excited about the photos. As silently as we could, we stalked our way back through the maze of small forest trails and sometimes pure jungle that only Jose and our guides knew their way through, stopping intermittently as they would hear, see, or even just know from experience when we were in specific areas to see even more wildlife. The skill and experience of our guides Jose, Francisco, Fernando, and Jaime was incredible, and their kindness and diligence led us to spotting probably dozens more species than we ever could have found on our own. Once we had made our way back to the lodge, it was back to the bird tower with the long lens just to try and keep up from what seemed like every angle as dozens of species went about their daily bird chores, searching for food, taking in the sun to warm up between rain showers, and as the oropendolo, or yellow-rumped caciques, did, gathering strings of palm fronds for their woven nests in noisy neighborhoods. As our final days approached, we had waited all week for one of our most special outings in search of one of the most unique animals on Earth. The famed freshwater pink river dolphins of the Amazon, or known locally as tecuchin, a mythical creature, rising up from the river at night with an anaconda for a belt and a stingray for a hat. He shapeshifts into a handsome man, and as local legend has remained for decades, is the cause of many mysterious pregnancies. But for us, the silent drifting along the banks of one of the mightiest rivers on Earth, waiting for the unmistakable small spout and sound of breath from a dolphin, is still just insane and crazy to imagine this incredible animal living so far from the ocean. The Amazonian pink river dolphin is also not alone in their ecological spectacle. Another species of dolphin inhabits these waters that's just as interesting, the pygmy gray dolphins, or as the locals call them, grises, or grays. These little wonders almost always travel at least in pairs, and sometimes larger groups, and both species are thought to be the long-lost ancient genetic relatives of small populations of dolphins cut off from inland bodies of water eons ago when the tectonic plates of the Earth and continents were different. As the low-lying inland seas drained and sea levels dropped, they were cut off from the open ocean as their habitats shifted to freshwater, rain-fed systems of the Amazon basin. And eventually, they had fully adapted to being freshwater river dolphins. Today, they are considered national treasures, and despite protection, still can be caught sometimes in fishing nets, are extremely threatened by habitat degradation, and science is still trying to even solidify their conservation status, that it is nearly impossible to maintain accurate counts due to the difficult nature of their Amazon environment, the incredibly vast range they may cover, and their ability to navigate the murky waters of the Amazon, appearing and disappearing, giving them their mystical reputation. Our little over a week in the jungle was coming to an end, and it was hard to believe the sheer amount of everything we had seen and learned, but as always, with every time we've ever been lucky enough to venture into just one small part of the Amazon rainforest, we knew we had barely scratched the surface. Silently trekking through the dense vegetation, so many species of the Amazon truly appear as tiny gems of the jungle, or sometimes even as though you're seeking out tiny Pokemon. And this especially rang true for one of the most incredible little birds in particular, the Golden Headed Manakin. Their unmistakable, almost electronic sounding call can give them away from some distance, but their incredibly quick movements, agility, and dance moves are a mesmerizing display, and that's just once you can get over the fact of the tiniest little black bird about the size of a tennis ball with a brilliant golden head. The males maintain their amazing head plumage, and sometimes even seem to glow in the low light of the jungle, and is perfect for catching the eye of a mate. But it's their dance moves, some of the fastest in the entire bird world and planet relative to their body size, that really ensure a female's attention. Golden Headed Manakins are also considered ecologically pivotal. With their entirely fruit diet, they disperse seeds throughout the jungle and ensure the jungle vegetation diversity. As our time was winding down, it really is an understatement to say that the jungle is just so full of life. You truly never know what you may come across. And a perfect example of this happened to us. With the sighting so special, I think we didn't even realize how rare and unique it was until researching it later. One of our guides, Jaime, this particular day took us on a small trekking trail along the banks of a tiny tributary winding its way through the dense jungle. Walking several hours, we were actually on our way back to the lodge at the very end of the day when strange sounds and splashes and a look of sheer incredulousness and excitement came over Jaime's face. And even he was fumbling to pull his phone out and record as quickly as he could. And if we've learned anything about traveling many parts of the world and participating in many wildlife excursions from sea to shore, if your guide is super excited, it must be something really special. An entire family of critically endangered giant river otters. These massive freshwater apex predators can reach nearly 7 feet in length and are the largest otters on Earth. Living in highly social family groups that roam the waters and tributaries of the Amazon, and after being hunted and poached nearly to extinction, they're estimated to have a population of fewer than 5,000 left in the wild. Giant otters hunt in packs like wolves of the river and are very vocal, and this group was sharing a giant catfish they had caught nearby and were distracted by their afternoon lunch. But still could be seen detecting our scent as we hid in the cover of the bushes and watched them for close to an hour. I was amazed to find out giant river otters can sometimes be identified and monitored with their throat fingerprint, as each has a unique pattern of markings in the cream-colored spots of fur on their neck. Giant river otters can also be fiercely territorial and have even been known to actively defend their scent-marked turf and riverbank areas, even recorded taking on small crocodiles and even jaguars. Our 8-day adventure in the jungle never seemed to stop giving. In catching our boat back to Leticia, we knew that while we may be leaving the jungle would not be leaving us. The experiences, sights, smells, flavors, and sounds, and just the sheer awesomeness of the largest and most renowned rainforest on the planet always plants another seed of looking up more places to see and different parts of the incredible Amazon to get to. Even though our time in the Amazon was complete for this year, our trip to Colombia wasn't even close to over, and we geared up to head to the cloud forests, high terrain, and arguably just as amazing Central Highlands in and around Manizales, Colombia. So stay tuned to hear about that part of our Colombian birding adventure next.